Welcome back. It is day 18, and today is all about personal branding. Bring our Clubhouse group on the line. Looking forward to the conversation today around branding. So I'd like you to think about a project that you might have in mind. Today is all about branding and thinking about what a strong brand is going to signal. So we've got Cheryl, we've got Samina, we've got Tiff. Good morning, Tiff. How are you?
Good morning.
Awesome. So good to have all of you here. I'm going to make sure that I've brought in our group members. Let's see. I don't know what Zoom is doing these days, but it's so interesting. Participants, here we go. Admit all. Thought I'd hit that admit all earlier. Hey, Cheryl. Hey, Samina. Thanks for joining us today. Looking forward to our conversation, which is all about branding. So this, I think, is a key topic for so many of us, whether we're branding a program, whether we're branding ourselves, whether we're really looking at, how do we stand out, quote unquote, in the virtual space. And if you met me last year, I was doing a lot of work around a micro brand of mine called Stand Out Virtually. You can visit it at standoutvirtually.com. We did a series of 5-day challenges and a bunch of other things, and you can still access many of them. But it's really key in today's world to stand out. And a big part of that is our brand. So just like this, what's the promise you're making? I know Tiff can't see this logo, but it's a hand with sort of a key, a tag on it. And the invitation is to start thinking about what is that promise that you're bringing others. So this week is all about clarity. Just a reminder, yesterday, Monday, we were looking at time management and staying at peak, which in fact is day 18 of the 90-day guide. Today, we're backtracking to personal brand because Tuesdays have really started to evolve as our day around brand, marketing, messaging. Monday, of course, is our day around planning. Tomorrow is motivation. And tomorrow I'm going to be releasing the hybrid work styles quiz out into the world. Really excited to talk a little bit more about this foundational topic of motivation. Then Thursday is teams, of course. So we're moving on to day 21 of our teams in focus. And day 22 will wrap up the week, building on to what we talk about Wednesday on motivation, to talk a little bit more about styles. So I hope by Friday, you'll have completed the hybrid work style quiz, which will start rolling out tomorrow. So build in some time Wednesday or Thursday night for the hybrid work style quiz. And we'll talk more about that on Friday. So lay of the land, we are at day 19. Hard to believe, day 19 of the month. And how is your progress going? I'm going to leave that as an inquiry because I want to spend most of our time today really getting you to think about brand elements. I really think for entrepreneurs, for leaders, for teams, this is a really key issue in the virtual and remote space, even more than in the in-person world. So typically when we think about branding, there's a number of elements that go into it. It's not only our logo or the name of a product, but it's also like, how do we present it? What's that shape? Now, in the digital space, of course, the shape might be more along the lines of, what platforms are you showing up on? What is it looking like? What are the elements? Is it all live? Is it on demand? Certainly for me and my work, as a brand, I'm all about group coaching. So I think there is a place for micro learning on demand. I'm all about the live conversation. That's what I really, really love. And that, I think, is a key, hopefully, part of my brand. People know me as a coach more than a trainer or perhaps, the talking head on a screen. We also have a key brand element of color. And we're going to talk a little bit about color this morning. I'd like you to think about the colors that represent who you are and who your programming really speaks to. And then we have graphics like icons and images. And of course, by now you've seen 19 different icons in our work together. So really, graphics, icons, images are also a key part of our work in terms of signaling our brand and signaling who we are to the external world. Now, some brands have a movement associated, and I don't know, you might want to think about yourself, are you like the tropical breeze, or are you the vortex coming up a hill? what is the movement? And I always like to think of companies like VW, Volkswagen. If you think about the little VW bug, think about the movement that would be associated with that vehicle compared to some others. A couple more brand elements that I want you to think about, and these may or may not be applicable to your work or your programming right now, but things like jingles and sounds, as well as taglines. And so today we're going to do a little bit of work here in the room, here online, getting you to think about your brand. I want to layer on one more element before we go into that, which is consistency, right? Brand is all about consistency. So if you look at all of my work, whether it's under the realm of group and team coaching, whether it's under this whole 90-day guide, I think there's even a couple of consistent elements that you're going to see across the board. For those that have known me for a little while, know my work for a little while, what have you noticed about some of the consistency factors? What stands out when you think about the brand of Potentials Realized or Jennifer Britton? Any thoughts?
I'd say the colors that you use.
Yeah. What Cheryl, what colors stand out for you with my brand?
Well, they're my favorite colors. So the green, the blue, and the purple. Probably the blue is the favorite.
And if you look at any of my book covers, all 7 of them now, they all have a predominant blue. So when I write under team and group coaching, you're going to notice some brand elements, the icons of the puzzle pieces. Look at effective group coaching or from one to many. That element actually carried over into Coaching Business Builder, which was a book. It is a book. It's a workbook planner for coaches. So I wanted to signal, even on the cover of that book, that this is for coaches, right? The world of coaches in my work is all about the puzzle piece. Because when we bring people together in the room to have dialogue as a group or a team, we're often figuring out who are we and how do we fit together. Now, what's interesting, and if you think about Reconnecting Workspaces, or if you think about effective virtual conversations, you're going to see a lot more color. So I then wove in the green, also the purple, and in effective virtual conversations, we also have pink and yellow to really represent the diversity of voices that exist within a virtual space. So in Reconnecting Workspaces, a 90-day guide, now we've come back to 3 colors, very intentionally on a 90-day guide. This month, we're very much in the blue. And then next month, we're going to go to either the purple or the green. I can't remember which one, but each month we'll have a different color to sort of denote here we are in the sequencing of this 3-month 90-day guide. So I hope that you enjoy that and really be thinking, both explicitly and implicitly, what are the things that you can be doing to signal? So color is a big one. And I just want to share with you this psychology of color wheel that I love. If you've been with me in other programs, you might have seen this before, but I think it's really insightful. And I know, Tiff, for you and others on Clubhouse, you can't see this, so I'll verbally walk through it, but different colors activate different feelings, different sensations. And so as a business owner, or even a program, we really want to be thinking about what is that promise that we're delivering. So as Cheryl noted, Potentials Realized, Group Coaching Essentials, the whole Reconnecting Workspaces really jives into those bottom 3, actually. There's a triad there, right, on the wheel. So the blue being nature and confidence, trust, power, confidence, loyalty, success, security, and purpose. Think about how those words might connect with you as a brand. Or the green, right? Green is always my secondary color for this business and our work, whether it's the Coaching Biz Growth Lab, where we're working with coaches to help them scale and grow their businesses, or whether it's here under this umbrella of the Reconnecting Workspaces 90-day guide, which is more about nature, luck, harmony, loyalty, safety, prosperity, and health. And of course, I think with the 90-day guide, health and well-being is a really big focus. Why did I write a 90-day guide for onboarding and reboarding? To really help people do their best work, to step into this with wellness and with flourishing, rather than, as we've been hearing so much, in the space of languishing. I'm also going to just focus in on purple, because that is connected to this body of work, which is an interesting color, right? There is a sort of a meta association around wealth, even though for some of us, I think we'd associate more the green with wealth. But if you look back in history, think about a lot of the royal figures. You'll see them wearing purple to denote that sort of that royalty. But it also, as a color, has connections with mystery, fantasy, imagination, royalty, spirituality, justice, and art. And I love purple because I think it really, at least in the way I like to use it in my brands, it activates what's possible, right? What is possible? And in the world of the remote hybrid space, such a critical question to be asking. So those are a couple of the colors. I'd love to hear from you, and you can feel free to chat or verbally share it. We've also got pink, which is love and creativity. We've got red, which is also love and creativity. Orange, optimism and warmth, like yellow as well. So Tiff, I know you can't see this, but I'd love to just bring in your voice from Clubhouse. Which colors are you putting in your brand right now? Are there some colors that you're activating in your work, Tiff?
I admit I do love purple, and I thought, whoa, it's the meta color now. Cool. So yeah, I love purple.
You're purple. All right. Is anyone else on the call purple? All right, Samina. Yep, Samina. What other colors are you working with, Samina?
Purple and pink.
Purple and pink.
And I didn't know this something like the psychology of colors existed, but it's just those colors really attract me, and I found it was just working.
Yeah. So as you look at this, and again, frameworks are frameworks, right? So what words speak to you this morning as you think about your brand and the purple and pink? Are there any words that are jumping off the wheel for you?
The pink, the femininity, creativity, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think so. The pink kind of is spot on with me and my niche and my overall branding. The purple, I didn't look yet, but yeah, I like those.
Intuition, just from knowing a little bit about the work that you're bringing out in the world, Samina, is intuition a piece of that as well, I would imagine?
Yeah, intuition, calm, gratitude. Yeah, all of them. The pink is spot on, actually, really.
It's spot on. Isn't it interesting, right? Sometimes we just naturally have chosen and embraced a brand while not necessarily knowing why. But there is a whole psychology behind this. And this is just one little slice of it. But I'd really encourage you, because especially in the digital space, right? We are back to that explicit and implicit, right? We are implicitly communicating through the use of color. And so color, shape, size, font use even has its own elements. So the more you get into this, the more you get into your own marketing, you'll start seeing like, how else might I reinforce or shape key messages that I want to communicate? Cheryl, Marty, or Latanua, thank you for joining us today. Any other comments that you want to make? Marty, you've seen us a few times. What are your brand colors right now?
Blue and gold, but I think green also.
Fantastic. Any insights that are a little different today, Marty, as you look at this morning?
No, I'm still asleep, I'm sorry to say.
But you're here, you're physically here, and I so appreciate
Barely.
Cheryl, how about you? What are you noticing?
Well, I'm fascinated because I love blue. Notice what I'm wearing.
Of course.
And really the blue here speaks very strongly to me. I never knew about this psychology of color wheel. And then my secondary color would be nature. I have a design background, not because I'm a designer, but the types of firms I've worked with. So I like clean lines. I like natural elements. So I find this just incredibly fascinating, today's session.
I love that. I love hearing that. And I never know, when I talk about brand, and I've been talking brand a long time, because I used to teach, marketing years ago. And I think it's a really underexplored area. One person who I love the writing of is Gretchen Rubin, and Gretchen is working on, I don't know when it's going to come out, but she's doing a book around the senses. And I think that's a really neat sort of area to explore, especially as we think about communicating our brand and what we stand for. So the focus question today is, what are the elements of your brand? What are the elements that you want to incorporate? Really, ultimately, we're asking the questions like you'll find on page 130, who are you? And what do you take a stand for? Also, as you go, it's not always just about how we look, but it's also about how we communicate that. And 2 weeks ago, we did a bit of a branding exercise. I am a blank who works with blank, so that blank. We're going to do some breakout again today to get you talking about either the color or to talk about, what is your core message? I am a blank who works with blank by providing blank in order to blank. I'll say that one more time. You can, look around and speak around this morning. I am a blank who works with blank by providing blank in order to blank. So you could actually swap in and out some of these words. I am a coach who works with female entrepreneurs who want to spark and embrace their creativity and intention. And I provide group coaching support in order to help people connect in with that sacred core. Whatever, right? You can really play around with this. And I think it's interesting as we talk this out, every time we talk it out, we get a little clearer on our message. And that's what we're going to do for our next 10 minutes. So for Latonia, who is joining us today, if you don't want to go into breakout, if you can, just quickly in chat, put NB, no breakout. No breakout for no breakout, and I won't move you into breakout. Otherwise, I am going to move you in breakout in just a second. Tiff, you're going to stay with me here, and you're going to have 10 minutes to talk color and or brand. And when I say brand, you may want to experiment with that. I am a blank who works with blank by providing blank in order to blank. Use the one that's going to help you further your thinking and your voice today. So any questions before we go to breakout? All right, this is going to wake everyone up, that's for sure. Let me put us in breakout. And I hope that you'll enjoy the 10 minutes that you're going to have in breakout. You can always come back here if you need to. All right, the rooms are open. Enjoy your conversation. I'll see you back here in 10 minutes. And Tiff, we get to stay here. So I'm going to record this if that's okay with you.
Not a problem. I'm
So
so excited.
yeah.
Branding.
Love it. So for you, and I'm just going to move Samina over. I'm going to move Samina to room 1. It looks, there we go. So Samina's over in room 1. They're going to all have a conversation. You couldn't see the color wheel, but I'll make sure that it's a graphic up on Instagram today. So what's important for you to look at this morning? Is it talking color? Is it talking brand? What do you think's important for you to explore right now?
Oh, well, I just love that we're talking about clarity this week.
Yes.
And clarity on branding, because you start out as a coach. Well, for me, start as a coach, you want to help everybody. And of course, that's beautiful. It's just if you want to help everybody, you're not helping anybody, because it's just important to have clarity on who you want to start with. So started with mompreneurs, because my mom is a mompreneur and I have aunts who are mompreneurs and friends and I love it. Okay, started there. What do I want to coach them with? And at first it was going to be business, it was going to be the nuts and bolts. And then I realized I'm not that person, at least not right now. So how am I going to support the moms? And it's developing more into self-care and healing. So then it's going in that direction. And I thought, okay, I like that. And then there's been the strongest messages about fun and play.
I was just going to say fun and play. Yeah. And you can't see it, Tiff, but on the screen, there's green, which is the health and prosperity, but then beside it is yellow, creativity and fun. And, and clarity and happiness and positivity, warmth and joy, which is so you, right?
Oh my gosh, that's why I just so appreciate these morning calls. They are amazing. And yes, I thought, and it's hard sometimes because I wrote in a LinkedIn post yesterday about your 90-day guide, and you talk about clarity, and I use the term bristle. Like, I bristled at that thought. Like, do I want clarity? Because then I know the next steps, but that is a good thing. So I just think play. I don't know how I'm going to brand that. I don't know how, because I just, then I start to doubt. And yet, we all need play, and kids learn when they play it, and adults can learn while they play. And business can be playful and fun at times. And how can I bring that to these mompreneurs who now they're in their business, and stuff is coming into light, and oh my gosh, what do I do now?
Yes.
And there's that tendency to run from play. I have to be so serious. I can't have any fun. Got to get it done. Oh my gosh, what am I doing to my kids by starting this business? I hear that. I'm like, what are you talking about? This is awesome. Your kids are excited for you.
Exactly.
So that's all stuff swirling. So thank you.
Well, thank you. And if I may, just from an observational standpoint, just point to something that is really consistent, right? We talked consistency a few minutes ago about branding, and something that you've been embracing in your Facebook Lives has been your hats, right? So that's an element of fun, but it's also, it could be part of your brand. There's a lot of different examples of how, for especially speakers, etc., like people will show up with like a pair of red shoes and are known as like the red shoe lady. Or if you think the red hat women, I don't know if you've ever heard of the red hat women, but they're a group of senior women, right? And they are always in their red hat. So, that could be a brand element as well. It's not one I mentioned, but it could be a great brand element. So playful hats. That would be really cool. So here's back to Reconnecting Workspaces. It is Reconnecting Workspaces. I talk a little bit about De Bono's 6 thinking hats. So he had a whole series of, it's an organizational design sort of process whereby teams and groups and organizations will look at issues through the lens of a different color of hat. So it might be an interesting area for you to sort of play around with in terms of, could there be a different hat day of the week, right? Could that be something you weave into your programs where the mompreneurs are invited, to bring a different hat or a scarf or an element, just like we've been doing these thematic days, right? Tuesday's branding and marketing. So a couple things to think about.
Thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure. And you've got some field work today. I'll mention what the field work is, but it's on page 132. And I want everyone to go away tonight and think about, what are the words that they want to use to describe their brand. So is it fun? Is it striking? Is it minimal? Is it hip? Is it innovative? Is it vintage? Is it refined? Is it elaborate, clean, bold, cartoonish, etc.? So you can check out page 132 for that. And then there's space for you to note down what's important about your brand. So I'm going to bring the folks out in a minute. We will start winding down for today, but I love the energy that gets created when people go to breakout. It's so interesting. And close the rooms. They've got a minute. And tomorrow, we're going to talk motivation, one of my favorite topics.
Oh, thank God.
Thank God. Yes, it's quite a key topic as I look at what started it all. You can't see me, but I'm going to make sure I bring this out tomorrow. It's one of my little micro Rolodexes almost. It's from my writing project this summer of starting to write this motivational guide for hybrid workers. So it's by no means complete, but it's in process. So they've got 17 seconds. Let's see what emerged. We'll hear from each one of you. So think about what you might want to share in terms of brand and key ideas around brand this morning. So they'll
Okay,
come out in 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. So welcome back, everyone. I know it probably wasn't enough time, but I'd love to hear from each person in a crisp sound bite. What was the one thing that got sparked for you? So Tiff, you get to get us kicked off. What got sparked for you in that conversation we had?
Oh, just what sparked was really honing in on how I want to show up. And I do want to show up as playful and fun because that's important in business.
So Tiff's
So,
playful and
yeah.
fun. Love it. Samina, what got sparked for you in this breakout?
COVID and VUCA times.
Yeah. How has that shifted your brand or impacted your brand?
I don't know, honey. I need to kind of think on that a bit more.
Okay. So
I think,
inquiry,
yeah.
maybe it sparked an inquiry, right? That you can sit in. And an inquiry, of course, coaching is something that doesn't get answered in the moment. So feel free to sit and stew.
Okay.
All right, Cheryl,
Thank you.
what got sparked for you?
Thanks to the support of Marty and Samina in particular, they helped me crystallize my purpose statement,
Ooh.
which was helpful. And I think Marty, there was some shared learning between Marty and myself. So that was also a positive from a group collaboration point of view.
Love it. That's why breakouts are so key. So Marty, anything you want to mention about your?
Yeah, I borrowed or stole, depending on her phrase, to improve profitability and performance.
Ooh, that's strong.
She gifted it to me. She gifted it to me.
Very nice. Well, the P's, right? Profitability, performance, it's all necessary.
Yeah.
So I hope that this conversation this morning will carry forward for you throughout the rest of your day. I hear how valuable it was to just show this slide, and again, just notice like one visual can really spark a lot of things. So as I was sharing with Tiff here in Clubhouse, my hope is that you'll engage with the field work for today. Day 17 is where we landed in the 90-day guide. Check out page 132, the field work of the now what. And I'd love for you to read through the list of adjectives there and pick, five or so words that speak to you in terms of what do you want your brand to look like, sound like, embody, right? Because there's all of these different elements. And there's a space there for you to note what's important about your brand in terms of colors, graphics, images, any mottos, and any taglines. As always, I hope you are using the book, even if you're using it in a different notebook. But notice as we go, the notebook is filling up. So with that, tomorrow we're back. We'll be on day 19, looking at motivation. And I will look forward to seeing you then. So have a great day, everyone. Enjoy, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. Take care. Thanks, Tiff. See you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks for time.